Welcome to this CalRTA presentation of Be Scam Savvy. Don't be a victim. My name is Sue Breyer, and in this video, my goals are to, number one, increase your awareness about some of the various online and phone scams, especially those targeting seniors. Number two, provide examples of each of these scams. And number three, offer suggestions on how to avoid these scams or what to do if you fall victim. So let's get started. So let's talk about seniors and why this particular age group seems to be the prime target for a variety of scams. Well, just in 2023, those 60 years and older experienced $3.4 billion in losses from scams. But why then? Well, they're less likely to be tech savvy, unlike those adults who are younger, many of whom are still in the workforce and use some form of technology on a daily basis. Many seniors are also retired and they're home during the day and more apt to reply to a text message or answer their phone rather than let a call from an unknown number go to voicemail. Seniors tend to have savings accounts and they have investments. In other words, they have money for the taking. Many seniors own their own homes, or they have a significant amount of equity invested in their homes. And they're typically a more trusting generation, growing up in the time when you didn't worry about leaving your house or your car doors unlocked. Number two, these scammers typically target their victims using three different methods. Number two, the first is email. Now, this method often involves phishing or sending fraudulent communications. The second is text messages with links and phone numbers for you to use to contact them. And the third is by phone, sometimes via robocall and sometimes with a real live human being on the other end. Now, of these three, which one do you think targets seniors the most? Yep, phone scams. And why? Well, just as I said before, seniors tend to answer all phone calls, even if a name doesn't appear or they don't recognize the name of the caller. So here's a number for you. The number one method of scamming produced $2.7 billion in financial losses nationwide in 2023. This scam hits everyone, not just seniors. What's the number one scam? It's imposter scams, those in which the scammer impersonates government employees from reputable institutions such as the IRS, Social Security Administration, or Medicare. They impersonate relatives, maybe a grandchild, a son, a daughter, an aunt, an uncle, or a cousin. They pretend to be a technical support expert, often from Microsoft or even the Geek Squad. They impersonate personnel from your bank's fraud department. And the most heartbreaking of all, they impersonate an online love interest, spending weeks, months, or even years wooing their victim only to walk away in the end. Number two, let's start with the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. Now, perhaps you receive a text message like this one from the IRS. Now, notice the threatening tone. A lawsuit is being filed, an arrest warrant has been issued, and you must call them immediately. Number two, this is a typical scam tactic. Instill fear and panic and create a sense of urgency. They even repeat the number to be called. Now, however, the IRS will never call or text you unless you have initiated the contact. Now, they may send you a letter via postal mail if there is a problem. Now, they won't call. They're not going to text you to demand payment for back taxes. They're not going to threaten to arrest you. They don't demand that taxes be paid immediately without giving you an opportunity to appeal or to challenge the bill. And they won't contact you to discuss your tax refund. Now, if you receive a text like this, don't call any phone numbers that they provide. Don't click on any links that they give you, and don't reply or respond to the text. If you receive a threatening call, hang up and contact U.S. Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration at the number that's at the bottom of the screen. Number two. Impersonating an officer of the Social Security Administration is also quite common. Of course, once a scammer has your Social Security number, the potential for long-term financial ramifications increases. Your Social Security number is unique to you, so guard it with your life. Now, similar to the IRS's policy, the Social Security Administration will never call or text you unless you have initiated the contact with them and they're returning your call. They won't threaten arrest. They won't suspend your Social Security number. They don't ask for personal information over the phone, such as confirming your Social Security number, your birth date, or confirming your bank account numbers. They don't pressure, threaten to seize your bank account, or move your money to protected accounts. They most certainly don't ask you to pay them with gift cards, prepaid debit cards, wire transfers, cryptocurrency, or in cash. Number two, the Social Security Administration doesn't demand secrecy and won't message you on social media. If you receive a call out of the blue from Social Security, hang up and call the 800 number on this screen. If you receive a text supposedly from the Social Security Administration, just as I've said before, don't click any links, don't call any numbers, and don't reply. Delete the text and block the number, and then call Social Security and report it. Number two, Medicare impersonators follow the same playbook as those impersonating officers of the IRS and the Social Security Administration. And just as with the other two that I just discussed, Medicare will never call or text you out of the blue. You will usually receive a written statement in the mail before you ever get a phone call from a government agency. Number two, they won't try to sell you anything, including, this is pretty common, including DNA tests or even a new Medicare card. They never ask for personal or private information, including asking you to confirm your Medicare number. They won't threaten to cancel your Medicare benefits. So never give your Medicare card, Medicare number, Social Security card, or Social Security number to anyone except your doctor, your insurance company, or other trusted individuals directly involved with your Medicare plan. Never carry your Social Security card with you, and carry your Medicare card only when you're meeting with your physician. Number two, this next scam that I want to discuss cost U.S. citizens, mostly seniors, $3.4 billion in 2023 alone, with the average loss per person a whopping $34,000. This is the grandparent or relative scam, usually perpetrated by phone. Now, this scam has become much more ruthless and effective because of new advances in the use of artificial intelligence. Scammers can now utilize technology of all kinds to clone a person's voice using just a snippet of audio pulled from social media, such as TikTok, or even from your phone's "sorry, I missed your call" message. Number two, grandparent or relative scam. Scammers pose as panicked children or grandchildren or another relative who are in trouble, calling or sending messages urging you to wire money immediately. They'll say that they need cash to help with an emergency. Perhaps they've been arrested and they need to pay bail. They've been in an accident, have to pay a hospital bill, or they're stranded in a foreign country and they need to get home. A second person might even get on the phone and claim to be an arresting officer, a lawyer, or even a kidnapper wishing harm on your relative. They pull at your heartstrings, they create a sense of panic, and so they can trick you into sending money before you even realize it's a scam. Number two, so what do you do if you receive one of these heart-wrenching, panicky calls? Number one, ask questions that an imposter wouldn't know.
Number two,
perhaps even establish a family emergency word or phrase to determine if they're really who they say they are.
Number two,
Do not send any money or give any private information to them. Hang up the phone and call a trusted friend or a family member who can check on the supposed victim. Report the incident to the Federal Trade Commission using the number at the top of your screen.
Number two,
$924 million. That's the amount of money lost nationwide with this next scam, ranking number 3 in total losses.
Number two,
the tech support scam's been around for over 15 years and remains one of the most effective scams nationwide, affecting tech users of every age. In 2023 alone, the FBI reported more than 37,500 complaints about tech support scams in which criminals posing as online helpers offer to rescue people from supposed computer viruses. Now, this scam is most unnerving and most often starts with one or more pop-up messages and warnings announcing that your computer has been infected with a dangerous virus. Now, these messages are often accompanied by loud bells, sirens, buzzers, and verbal warnings to not turn off your computer. Now, as you can see in this image, which shows what the pop-ups often look like, the windows include a support number to call and 2 buttons that you can click for help. But as I've cautioned before, don't call any numbers provided for you and don't click any links or buttons on the screen.
Number two,
If you do, scammers might request remote access to your device, allowing them to inflict all kinds of damage, including stealing your personal information, your logins, and your passwords. They'll offer to help you remove the viruses on your computer for a fee, of course, even though the viruses don't exist.
Number two,
what to do if this happens? You can't simply click out of the pop-up windows. You must power down your device, turn it off, or simply pull the plug. You may lose data or a document you're working on, but that's nothing compared to what you'd lose if you fall into the scammer's trap. To report such a scam, contact the Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov or go to reportfraud.ftc.gov and report the incident.
Number two.
This next scam, which often targets seniors, raked in $1.14 billion in 2023 alone, with the average loss per person at $190,000.
Number two,
the romance scam is one of the most sinister of all scams. Con artists, both men and women, preying on vulnerable victims on dating websites, devote abundant time to earn the trust and affection of the victim, only to leave them heartbroken, embarrassed, and many times destitute. These online romances move quickly, initially with lavish compliments, pet names, and professions of love. The scammer, let's say it's a male, claims to be out of the country working on a once-in-a-lifetime project that'll be wrapping up soon. Weeks pass, and then the problems begin. The project is on hold due to a lack of money. The two won't be able to meet until the project is complete. He needs money to finish the project. He asks his victim for the money, promising to pay her back with interest as soon as the project is completed, which should only be in a week or two.
Number
She
two,
wires the money. The scammer may stop there, but more often than not, the scenario drags out for months and even years while his victim drains her bank accounts, mortgages her home, and liquidates her investments. Romance scammers troll the internet for potential victims, usually people who are widowed or divorced or have suffered a recent trauma. They use social media sites, gaming websites, and data websites and apps to find their victims.
Number two,
Unfortunately, many of these victims are unlikely to report this crime due to feelings of shame and embarrassment. If you are a victim or you know of a victim of this kind of scam, contact the Federal Trade Commission at the web address at the top of the screen.
Number 2.
These next two scam strategies have more than likely appeared in your text messages. Bank phishing, whether by email or text message, is ongoing. Perhaps you've received a text message like the one here, generating a bit of panic with its message that your bank account's been locked and you need to recover it to be able to access your funds. And notice that the text message includes a phone number and a link to click, both of which, if accessed, will supposedly resolve the issue. However, as I've repeated in this video, don't call any number on your screen and don't click on any links and don't reply to this kind of text. You can forward the text message to 7726, which actually spells spam. You can block the number and mark it as spam, and you can call your bank directly using a number on their website or on the back of your debit card.
Number
And
2.
just know, your bank will never ask you to provide or confirm personal details or confidential information via text message.
Number 2. Number 2.
And finally, let's take a look at a common postal delivery scam. Now, these notices are almost always sent via text message. So the strategy is similar to the ones that I discussed before. This scam involves a package that you apparently ordered, but that can't be delivered by the U.S. Postal Service because the address is incomplete. All you need to do to resolve the problem and receive your package is to click the link and reply to their questions. Now, as I've repeated many times, don't click and don't reply. Simply block the number. Now, the example on the right from a fake FedEx representative uses the same technique. You have a package waiting, but it can't be delivered until you click a link and you set your delivery preferences. Now, don't click and don't reply.
Number
Now,
2.
when you receive something like this, cue that skeptical little voice in your head. Was I expecting a package delivery? Did I send a package to someone? Did I ask for a notification? And if not, it's most likely a scam.
Number 2.
So here are 10 suggestions that can help you be scam savvy and hopefully prevent you from being a victim. Number 1, ignore or block unwanted text messages or calls from unknown numbers. If a phone call is that important, the caller will leave you a message. If you're not sure a call or a text is legitimate, call the company or business directly.
Number 2.
Number 2, don't ever give out your personal or financial information.
Number
Number
2.
3, if you receive an unsolicited email or text, do not click any links. Don't even type stop. Block the messenger and or call the company directly.
Number 2.
Number 4, resist the pressure to act immediately. Take a breath. Call a trusted friend or relative.
Number 2.
Number 5, know how scammers tell you to pay. Gift cards, money transfer, prepaid debit cards, cash. These are the most common methods. Number 6, scrutinize and look closely at those strange or suspicious emails or text messages that you receive. Especially look at the URLs and the links and the email addresses where they're coming from.
Number 2.
Number 7, turn on automatic software updates on your computers and your phones so you always have the most current fraud blocking tools. Now, these updates can be conveniently scheduled for a time that works for you.
Number 2.
Number 8, use two-factor authentication for logins whenever you have the opportunity to do so. It requires you to enter a newly generated code sent to your phone before you can gain access to an account. Number 9, use unique, elaborate passwords and password managers to keep them protected. And number 10, freeze your credit at Equifax Experian, and TransUnion to prevent someone from opening a credit card in your name.
Number 2,
And keep this website address handy, the one that you see at the bottom of your screen. Contact reportfraud.ftc.gov if you suspect you might be a victim.
number 2,
Thank you for joining me for my Be Scam Savvy, Don't Be a Victim presentation. I hope that you will take this information to heart and share this video to prevent others from falling victim.